Welcome to Tech Talks with Paul. Today we're going to talk about deploying a contract on an AVA Cloud L1 using Hardhat. And it's a little bit tricky, it's not very straightforward, and we'll also show how to verify. So let's get going. First of all, what is AVA Cloud? AVA Cloud is a system where you can deploy an Avalanche L1 with just a few clicks. I set one up recently for a client, and it was very, very simple, very easy. I think we spent probably about 10 minutes going through all the configuration, which was just basically, it was all UI driven. And then it took about 15 to 20 minutes for it to fully deploy. And then we had our own L1 that was running. We had our own Explorer. And so if you're not familiar with it, it's avacloud.io. And it's quite impressive what they've built here. And I've never seen an easier to deploy chain. So great system they've got here. It's relatively new. There's a few issues I found, but overall, everything's flawless. It runs. I can deploy contracts. I can run blockchain stuff. So I'm actually really pleased with it. Okay, so let's get going. So I've got we already have our L1 out here that's deployed. And what I actually need to do now is let's go and let's look at our contract. So this is our contract, and so we're going to launch, this is our actual OMBS token. And let me tell you a little about this token. So first of all, it's just an ERC20 token. We have a little drip function that I wanted to integrate with the NFT. So I wanted to build something real simple here that was a dual contract. They interacted with each other because I really wanted to see how well that worked on an L1 rather than just a simple single contract. I wanted to see about inter-contract communication and make sure that that was fast and efficient, gas efficient, etc. I assumed it would be, but the only way to know for sure is to test it. So I set this up so it actually will drip a token, so there's no minting when it first goes out. You actually have to call drip, and it's only available, hold on a second, let me get my pointer focus going. I always seem to forget that. Here we go. So now I actually have my pointer focus. So this actually will drip a token, well, an amount, to an address whenever you call mint. And it only is allowed by a proxy, which is an approved contract. And if we go over here, you can see that in my utilities, I have, well, that's artifacts. You can see in my utils, I have proxyable, which means you can actually set up, the owner can set up like addresses that are proxies that are actually allowed to call these functions. Some people would call them admin functions. I use proxy as a term that can be used because you can have contracts interacting, which may not be the admin. They're actually just proxy contracts that they're allowed to access. So first of all, we have a token that doesn't mint except for when someone calls drip. And so we will set up our NFT contract that can mint the token. So here it is. This is a very simple NFT contract that doesn't mint anything, pre-mint anything. Now this is a public function. Anybody can call the mint OMBS, but they give their own tokenary. So this is interesting because not only is it a public mint, anybody can just mint free will. They can also set the tokenary. So this means we could have a collection of NFTs where everybody gets to have a unique NFT. And so this is similar to what happens on OpenSea and other where they have a public contract. But the one difference we have here, so we have the minting. Everybody can only mint one per address. But what's different here is we drip one OMBS token. So this is where we call the drip function. So we set up an interface to that contract. We set up the drip function, and it actually drips an NFT. And then we actually had a nice message that says dripped OMBS on, and then it will have the user's address. And so I won't go into what OMBS means, but it's kind of funny. So this was just a fun little project here. So we have an NFT that anybody can mint that gets an OMBS token along with their NFT, and they can set their own tokenary. All right. So first of all, let's look at our Hardhat. So when you're setting up your to deploy with Hardhat, what you need to do is you need to set up your AVA Cloud configuration. So in this case, we have AVA Cloud Testnet and my URL AVA Cloud Testnet RPC, and then my private key. And so you need to set those up in your environment variables. I'm not going to go into setting that up. That's more of a, how to use Hardhat, which that's not exactly what this is. If you're familiar with Hardhat, this process will make sense. If you're not, spend some time learning about Hardhat and how to deploy contracts. And this would be kind of like that little special thing specifically for AVA Cloud. So to get your testnet RPC, once you're logged into your AVA Cloud, you can go to Details and Access Details. And that will bring you here, and you can get your RPCs. So I'm going to use the developer RPC, copy this, and I would copy this over into my environment variables. And so we'll have that here, and then I will create a wallet if I don't have one, and I will pull the private key out and put that in here. Now, one thing you'll want to note that if you are submitting transactions onto a testnet, you have to have some of the testnet tokens. So this would be, you'd have to make sure you get the tokens from whoever deployed the testnet, or if they have a faucet set up. So there's options. I helped set it up, so I have the tokens. So we're good to go here. So what we'll do is we will quickly, one more thing to show you is I will show you our deployment script. Real simple. We get our signers, we make sure we have balance, and we get our OMBS contract, we deploy it, and then we get the address for it. Very simple, very straightforward. And px Hardhat run scripts deploy ombs.js network, and what did I have? AVA Cloud Testnet. Compiles everything, deploys it, gives me my owner address, it deployed it, and it deployed it to this address. Beautiful, perfect, just exactly what we want. Now that we have this address, let's go over, and on the same page we have our Explorer, which is here. So let's take a look at our Explorer. All right, so this is the Explorer for our testnet. So we'll copy this address, and we can look at our contract. Come on. It says no results. Interesting. Oh, even better. I love this. All right, so there is this. This was the transaction hash. And it doesn't save it. So I think one of the issues I am seeing is it's a little bit slow on having the details. And that's unfortunate. See, here we go. Maybe. There we go. All right. So it's a little bit slower. Now it is testnet. I don't know how the mainnet runs. Probably much faster because there's multiple validators. So we're running on the very basic testnet version. So that's probably why. But what it says here is contracts not verified, which of course is not verified because we didn't. Now I tried to say I don't really have an API to set this up with Hardhat to auto-verify. All right, once we get to the smart contract verification, what we want to do is we want to go over here and we want to say what files do we need. So we'll find our OMBS Sol, our Solidity file. So we'll right click, reveal in File Explorer, and we will drag that here. And it says our metadata file is missing. So what we want to do is we want to go up to the artifacts, build info, and then take this JSON file here. We'll drop that in there. And there we go. We have everything. So then we scroll down to our OMBS, or we can just find OMBS. Right? There we go. It's right here. So the actual file, and then we come back over here and we grab our deployed contract right here. We enter that here. We select our chain, and then we submit contract. And then we go up and take a look, and perfect verification. Done. Now, when you go back to the smart contract, it's going to say not verified. You just refresh. And all right, so now it's showing as contract verified. Now, one of the issues I see here also is I can't actually view the contract source. I've looked and I don't, oh, wait, do they have it now? Ah, they have it now. When I looked yesterday or a few days ago, I couldn't find it. So now you can actually see the contract source. So there we go. So we have a fully verified contract and we can read and write. Oh, that's wonderful. And so there we go. And so this is how you would go through and on an AVA Cloud, deploy with Hardhat, and then verify using the custom Explorer for the L1. Now we're using the test net. I'm assuming it works the same on the main net. If you have any questions, just leave them below, and I'll see if I can help you out there. This was I'll continue to post information on the AVA Cloud as we continue working on it. We got to set up our gas station and a few other things for gasless transactions, set up some new validators, some nodes. So there's a lot of work to come, and I look forward to continuing to give out the information and help those that are working on AVA Cloud. Until next time, keep building awesome tech.
Hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain.